today's breaking news, I'm going to bring the latest advancement in OpenAI. OpenAI now released a new model. New day, yet another model. But this time, this model is supposed to be better than any model ever released. Or is it? OpenAI announced GPT-5 while removing access to 4.0. And within 24 hours, Sam Altman tweeted saying OpenAI underestimated how much people love 4.0 better than GPT-5. So today, we're gonna find out if GPT-5 is really magic or just hype. Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming to another video where I, Shruti Kapoor, your favorite developer, entertainer, and educator, bring the latest in tech for you to help you break through the hype and understand what's going on. If you want more breaking news and want to stay up to date with tech, follow this newsletter where I share top 5 things that happen in tech every other week, delivers right to your inbox so you can stay updated. And now let's take a look at what's new in GPT-5. So let's take a look at what's new in GPT-5 by taking a look at the announcement on OpenAI. First thing, it says best response time every time. We'll test that. Great at coding. We'll test that. As a coding collaborator, GPT-5 tackles complex tasks end-to-end and delivers more readily usable code, better design, and is more effective at debugging. Note these 2 points. More readily usable code, which means as you download it or as you copy-paste, that code should be runnable and should not have any errors. Better design, which means it should be usable, should have good user experience, and should be simple and intuitive, and is more effective at debugging. Okay, cool. Keep those things in mind because we're going to test that. An expressive writing partner creates clearer, more compelling messages, more useful health answers, safer and more accurate, which actually means that it has less hallucinations. Now, the biggest thing about ChatGPT-5 you'll notice is that they highlight on the fact that it is for front-end, that it focuses on front-end UI and can generate really good front-end UI with minimal prompting. But this is the biggest difference between GPT-5 and GPT-4. GPT-5 claims to be a unified system with a smart, efficient model that answers most questions, a deeper reasoning model for harder problems, and a real-time router. Now, what does this mean? Basically, GPT-5 is now able to understand whether it should switch into deep thinking mode, which initially in GPT-4 you would have to select manually, whereas if it should give fast responses. We're going to test this if it does this accurately. But the idea is that you no longer have to switch a toggle between deep thinking versus fast thinking or one-shot answers. So overall, if I have to summarize what ChatGPT-5 brings, it is a smarter and unified architecture, meaning it understands when to switch between deeper reasoning versus fast responses. It has the capability for better reasoning, meaning it shows step-by-step instructions of what it is thinking and the plan that it is going to follow. It is better at giving accurate responses. According to research, it gives 45% fewer hallucinations than GPT-4o and is more likely going to say, I don't know, to a question instead of confidently lying. And finally, multimodality, which means you can have a text conversation, a video conversation, an audio conversation, all in the same kind of conversation, and it is able to understand when to switch between a text model, an image model, or a video model. One big cost comparison is that GPT-5 is $10 for 1 million tokens versus Claude Opus 4.1 is $75 for 1 million tokens. But enough about the technical terms. Let's take a look at this in action. To actually understand the difference between how GPT-5 gives responses versus how GPT-4 gives responses, we're going to try something fun. I'm going to say, explain friends showed to me. And by the way, I am on the GPT-5 paid version, which means I get access to the flagship model and the thinking model. Okay, so I said explain friends showed to me, and it said Friends is a sitcom that ran from 1994 to 2004. It's basically the comfort food of TV. It follows 26, 30-somethings, Rachel Green, Monica Geller, Ross Geller, Chandler Bing, Joey Tribbiani, Phoebe Buffet. Big recurring arcs. It's known for its witty banter, running gags, turning everyday life into comedy gold. If you want, I can give you a spoiler. Free why people love it pitch. Okay, ChatGPT-5, very straightforward, just tells you like the facts. Now let's try this in ChatGPT-4o. How do you get GPT-4o? Currently, if you have logged into ChatGPT-5, that is the default GPT you can get. You cannot go back. But if you haven't logged in yet, you may be able to access it. I'll show you how. Okay, I'm in incognito mode and I haven't logged in yet. So it says log in to unlock GPT-5. It is kind of confusing here because if I haven't logged in, it may look like it's GPT-5, but it's not. So if I say something like hello, and it'll say, oh, how's it going? And say, if I ask which model are you? So it says I'm based on GPT-4. Cool. Now I'm going to ask it the same thing. Explain Friends show to me. So it says, sure. Friends is a classic American sitcom that originally aired from 1994 to 2004. It follows a group of 6 friends living in New York City. Here's a quick rundown. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, check this out. The show is often about their friendships and romantic entanglement with lots of funny, awkward, and heartfelt moments. Friends is known for its iconic moments, catchphrases like Joey, how you doing? Ross is where we were on a break, and the overall camaraderie between the characters. Do you have a favorite character or episode? So you see the difference between the two. On the left is GPT-5, which feels more factual, more robotic. It's more to the facts, here's the things, whereas on the right, GPT-4o is more human, it's more warm, and that's exactly what people are talking about on Reddit. Now, one of the main features of GPT-5 is the ability for it to decide when to think deeper or when to give a quick response. And we're going to put that to test. So I have downloaded an image of Sagrada Familia, which is in Barcelona, Spain, and I'm going to tell it, I want to go here for a 10-day trip. Can you help me plan this within a budget of 200 euro per day? Okay, so let's see what it says. Okay, so now it says, it understood that it's Sagrada Familia, and it says, if you want a 10-day trip with a budget of this, we can design something that balances sightseeing, food, and experiences. So note that it did not actually think longer about this. It just directly gave me the result. And it says you can do an accommodation of this. Suggested itinerary, Sagrada Familia, Park Güell. Okay, it did not ask me any questions. So, but now I want to tell it, I want to visit other countries. I want to visit other countries in the area. Give me a 10-day itinerary, starting at Frankfurt, ending in Amsterdam, while visiting this place. Why I'm giving it this is because I actually did this itinerary and I want to see how good it gives me the result. Okay, in this case, I would have actually thought that it would go into deep thinking mode, but it did not. Which is interesting because when I tried this just before recording this, it actually went into deep thinking mode. So it seems it's unreliable. Either it has context on the research that it has probably already done, or that it's unreliable. That same prompt can generate different outputs, which I guess is the problem with AI. So I'm going to give it something else. I'm going to start a new one. And I'm going to say, I want to visit a relaxing country from Seattle for a duration of 5 days. And I don't want to exceed a maximum of, I don't know, where can we go? 2000 USD per trip, for the trip. Help me plan a trip where I can go with 2 people. I'm going to make mistakes, why not? I'm going to make typos, why not? And spend 5 days while visiting other countries as well. Let's see. Okay, again, without thinking, it gave me this result. Rethink this for September, considering the weather and flight costs. Okay, now it knows that it needs to search the web, which actually GPT-4o was able to do as well. Okay. Check this out. So it gave me 3 options. Option 1 is Vancouver Whistler, which honestly, it's a very chill and nature-focused trip. Not a very beach town, so not a very good option. Mexico is actually a good option. It says relaxation, beaches, great food. Okay. Flights are short and cheap. You can hop to a nearby charming town. Cool. And then it says Portugal and Spain. So check this out. It does tell me there's a caveat. You'd spend more than 10 hours flying each way. Honestly, relaxation. In another country hop, Europe works better if you're 7 to 10 days. So it's able to think that this may not be a good option. We're going to put this to test and see what Claude says. Okay, Claude also knows to use the tool, which is search the web. Let me search for more specific options. Okay. Iceland and Denmark, Canada multi-city tour, Iceland with Iceland Air stopover. You just gave me Iceland earlier. Best choice for relaxation is this. Okay. You see how like both the tools gave me different options. So as somebody who lives in Seattle, I know that Mexico, Cabo San Lucas or Puerto Vallarta is actually a better option than Iceland because of the same fact that because of the same thing that GPT-5 highlighted, which is actually you spend a lot of time just flying, which Claude was not able to highlight. So I like GPT-5 in that sense. In this case, GPT-5 is a winner. We're going to also try this with GPT-4. Okay, I'm going to give it the same prompt. I want to visit a different country, blah, blah, blah. Sounds fantastic. Thank you. This is one other thing that GPT-4 is known for. Like, it makes you feel validated. Okay, destination selection, you want a relaxation trip. It actually is Mexico, Costa Rica, Colombia, Hawaii. If you look at the results from GPT-4o, you'll notice that it's much more detailed in its reasoning. It's telling you, like, I'm going to select this because airfare is affordable, accommodation is reasonable. It's option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4. Flight and accommodation costs. So it's much more methodical in its thinking. To stay under the 1,000 budget, we'll focus on affordable activities. Final thoughts, Mexico looks like a great fit for your budget. You'll have time for relaxation on the beach as well as some sightseeing. Okay, now comparing GPT-4o with GPT-5, my preference actually is GPT-4o. I like the way that it's giving me response on this much better than GPT-5, where GPT-5 was like, here's your options, go figure. Whereas GPT-4o was much more detailed in why it chose certain option. And it helps me understand which one I should take as well. In this case, GPT-4 better than GPT-5. Now, one of the biggest things that GPT-5 says is that it shows particular improvements in complex front-end generation and debugging larger repositories. I'll be the judge of that. Let's find out. And I'm going to give this example, build a to-do app and make it pretty. Meanwhile, I'm going to tell Claude the same thing. All right, planning front-end code, crafting to-do app code. This is what's new in GPT-5. It has the capability to actually think longer. Okay, I also like the UI interface. I think this came with 4. 4.0. I think this came recently. Okay, while it's typing, I'm just going to go over and look at Claude. Both of them are typing and we'll see. Okay, Claude is done already and GPT is still writing. Still writing. This is real time, by the way. We're going to wait. Take your time. Notice that I also gave a very vague prompt. I said make it pretty. I didn't say what the feature should be. We'll see what they interpret. I don't have patience for this. I'm going to go ahead and try a Claude app. Okay. Already, I like the UI that Claude has given me. Claude is very good at this, but I'm going to try this and see. What needs to be done? Try GPT-5. Add, compare with Claude. Now, there's 3 things I want to test with both of these apps. I want to test the user experience, I'm going to test the code, and I'm going to test how accessible these components are. So usability-wise, this is actually pretty nice. I like the UI. It makes me want to use this UI. Looks pretty nice. If we use our keyboard key to navigate, it's able to move focus pretty well. So I like it. Keyboard navigation looks good, but not perfect because it does not announce, well, I'm not using screen reader, but it hasn't actually told me how many tasks there are. Maybe it does with screen reader, but I am not testing that right now. Let's take a look at the code. By the way, okay, finally it was done. That took extremely long. Like, that is not okay time to take. That took extremely long. Okay, anyways, let's take a look at Claude's code. So added to do uses use state. That's fine. I don't expect it to use a new library. Add to do if input trim value is not this. Set to dos. Toggle to do. Delete to dos. Handle key press. Completed count. Total count. Div class name. It created this in React, but it wasn't able to actually create new components out of it. So not perfect, but okay. Okay job. Let's take a look at GPT-5. Same prompt. Let's see the UI. It's weird that it doesn't give me the UI first. Where's the UI? Okay, if I run this code, there you go. Okay. Overall, the app looks pretty simple, but oh crap, it's broken. There you go. Already don't like this. Okay, going back. Overall, the app usability looks pretty simple. Like, the UX is pretty simple. I liked Claude's UI better, much prettier. It is pretty, did the job. This takes forever. Initializing environment also, it is taking forever. I don't have this kind of time. Okay, I think it's broken. I don't even want to do this again. All right, so one thing to notice is that it's actually taking Shadsi and UI components. Which, did this guy take Shadsi and UI components true? No, it did not. It was actually pretty basic that this did. This actually created components from scratch. So I don't know how I feel about, actually, I know. I don't like that fact that it took Shatsian components automatically. I did not ask you to take Shatsian components. I don't like when new libraries are added. Tailwind I can live with, but Shatsian, ask me first. Okay, it did make a TypeScript file. I do like that. Types are given, cool, save theme, load theme. I don't know why it's doing all of this load theme and save theme. Seems like it's going beyond expectations, trying to go beyond expectations. Okay, pretty to-do app, cool. Use state, to-do, filter, query, theme, editing, set editing, input ref. Kind of want to run this again and actually see what's going on. This is extremely slow and this is just a to-do app. This is not okay. So one good thing is that actually does tell me, do you want me to wire this into an XJS page or swap Shatsian UI for plain Tailwind so it runs in a bare CRA beat project? Good thing, but I'm not going to take a look at that. Okay, this is taking too long. Okay, it wasn't able to finish executing the code, so I'm not going to take a look at that. I'm going to mark it as one off. But okay, take a look at the code though. It's actually automatically using use memo. I do like that. I like that it's automatically optimizing the code, but let's see what it's doing. Const base equals filter if it's active, to-do.filter. Filter is completed, to-do.filter, to-do. This code is not very readable. It could do a better job at writing readable code. I do like that it optimized the code, but the code itself is not very readable. It's also not done the job of actually looking for undefined, same in here. Looking at document.document.element.classList is actually an anti-pattern. So changing that is actually not recommended, and I don't like that it's actually going inside document. Overall, so far, the code is not up to my mark. It is trying to do a good job, but it's not up to my mark. Like window.add event listener, no, don't do that. So I don't like this code so far. Let's give it another shot. Now we're going to give GPT-5 a difficult example and see how they behave. We're going to build a Netflix clone and ask GPT-5 and Claude to build Netflix app for us from scratch. I'm going to give it a list of features that I want, and I'm going to ask it to select the libraries that I tell it. And then we're going to see what kind of code it generates. By the way, this is exactly the crash course that I'm making for you. It's going to be released by the end of this month. So if you want that React crash course, stay tuned, hit that bell icon, subscribe to this channel so you get notified when that crash course is coming. We're going to build Netflix from scratch and we're not going to use AI. But now let's see how AI does this. Here's my prompt. I'm going to say, build me a Netflix clone that should have the following features. You should have a single movie card, have multiple movie cards. You should have multiple movie cards with hover. You should add event handling with hover effects. By the way, this is exactly the README from my GitHub. If you want to see the progress of that course, make sure you start this repo. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say add routing, and we're going to add TanStack router, infinite scrolling using TanStack, query, React query for better data handling, also TanStack query, performance optimization, add check for auth, adding error monitoring using Sentry, add Tailwind for styles. Now this is a lot, so I'm going to see what it says. Okay. Thinking longer, good. Now this is exactly where the model is able to switch between fast responses and quick and longer responses. So you saw that in action. Okay, let's see. Okay, it only thought for 15 seconds. Well, I would have expected it to think longer, but okay. Okay, after a long time, it actually generated some code and finally finished writing. I also asked it to generate a zippable file so that I could download it and run it. And here it is. And I've got that running, and this is what I see. Already there's an error. Flat truths is not iterable. That's not cool. So I'm going to go tell it flat truths is not iterable. Okay, after some more debugging and spending like almost 30 minutes trying to fix the issues, it finally generated this really cool Netflix looking app. I'm actually very impressed. The hover feature is really cool. If I click on it, it actually opens a new route built with TanStack Clerk and Sentry. It's already added all of those 3 libraries into it. It's actually really cool. I might have the ability to sign in as well. Of course, there are some minor things, and it has infinite scroll as well, which is amazing. It did take a long while for this app to load, so I'm guessing it's not very optimized, but that's another step that we can do. So now if I use the tab key, it can actually navigate between these components, although this is not a best practice, but technically it is accessible if I hit enter. The focus is lost and it doesn't navigate to the next item. I guess there is nothing actionable, so it makes sense. But if I hit Netflix again, so it is okay. Of course, not the best experience, but still okay. Okay, let's take a look at the code that it generated. So starting off with index.html, I do like the way that it has organized the code. It follows best practices. It has route tree file, which is created by TanStack, uses n variables, again using best practices. It is in strict mode, good. Okay, let's take a look at the route file. All right, now we're gonna check for the code quality and how accessible this is. So it's using the link component, good, for routing. The nav component for semantic HTML, good, we like that. Signed in from clerk, great. I'm not seeing ARIA attributes yet, but let's take a look at index. Use infinite query. There's some error happening in here. I don't know what's going on, but it uses infinite query from TanStack query, which is great. And it also does prefetching, which is awesome. So overall, I think the quality of the code is pretty good. I'm not seeing ARIA attributes added anywhere, but let's take a look at movie card. Maybe it's here. So I've got figure. It did use figure, which is good. And it also told me that if I want to use Next.js image components, it can do that for me, which is good. Again, no ARIA attributes here. Am I just mistaken? No ARIA attributes here, so no focus on accessibility, which is not good. But overall, I think a very good start. I do like the way that it has created the UX. Code looks pretty neat as well. Some issues, but I think that's manageable. Overall, I think pretty great start. Overall, my experience is that GPT-5 is great at thinking deeper and understanding when to think deeper. But the first example that it created of the to-do app, it did a really poor job. The example of actually giving a itinerary for traveling, it did an okay job as compared to Claude Sonnet, but it did a worse job than GPT-4o. But when it came to the Netflix example, it actually surpassed my expectations and did really well. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the examples. And the next step from here is to actually learn how to build an AI agent. And if you want to do that in JavaScript, check out this video next.